When Eilat-Mazar realized she had discovered an ancient structure near Jerusalem, she turned to the Bible to help explain what she had found. She learned that this new discovery supported the biblical accounts of King David and his son Solomon. For decades, scholars have argued that the tomb of King Solomon, containing a portion of his enormous wealth, did not exist because no one who claimed to know its location had been able to find it. King Solomon is an intriguing figure because the Bible makes so many claims about him controlling vast amounts of territory. However, that was until a team of Israeli archaeologists from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, in a random but interesting turn of events, set out to find the lost temple of King David but surprisingly stumbled upon the last resting place of his son, King Solomon. It is interesting to note that the location and content of this tomb may have just proven that everything we knew about it was false. Join us as we uncover the mystery of King Solomon's tomb, which was finally opened after 3,000 years. A team of scientists and archaeologists, led by Eilat-Mazar from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, discovered the location of Solomon's tomb in the city of David. However, before this, in 1986, Dr. Mazar made a significant archaeological discovery that she initially dated to the 9th century BCE. This discovery was a monumental gatehouse located about 150 meters north of the city of David in the Ophel area. At the time, Mazar did not have enough evidence to attribute the gatehouse to King Solomon and refrained from making such claims. In 2009, Mazar resumed her excavations at the Ophel site. With more findings and a better understanding of the structure, she re-examined the dating of the gatehouse. Based on the new evidence, she concluded that the gatehouse likely dated to the 10th century BCE, during the time of King Solomon. Why should we believe this archaeological discovery by Mazar? Dr. Mazar was a brilliant scientist who placed tremendous importance on the scientific method. As an archaeologist, one of her favorite mottos was, "We must let the stones speak." The late Herschel Shanks emphasized Dr. Mazar's qualifications in a 2007 Biblical Archaeology Review article, stating that no one would question her professional competence as an archaeologist. Dr. Mazar is often regarded as a biblical scientist, as she had no trouble incorporating the Bible into her science, in contrast to the great majority of scientists working today. The entire assemblage contained more than 30 bulli, and one of them attracted special attention. She was rather excited to incorporate such finds into her work, unlike many scientists and scholars nowadays who believe that science and religion are in opposition to each other. Mazar's expertise in the field is therefore a major contributor to this significant discovery. What makes this discovery even more astonishing is that they were not specifically searching for Solomon's tomb. Instead, they were looking for something even larger. Mazar and her team were excavating the oldest part of Jerusalem, aiming to find King David's palace when they uncovered a large wall segment approximately 210 feet long. This segment included a gatehouse, a corner tower, and a royal structure. The archaeologists were stunned by the wall size, suspecting it might be part of an even grander building, such as a temple or palace. They were thrilled by the possibility that this structure was connected to King Solomon's reign. Radiocarbon dating indicated that the site was from the period when King Solomon ruled. Mazar noted that this was the first time they had found a structure from that era that could correspond to the descriptions of King Solomon's buildings in Jerusalem. Could this structure have been built by another king and not Solomon? Mazar explained that there were not many kings from the 10th century BCE who could have built such a structure, essentially just David and Solomon, according to the Bible. King David, known for his battle with Goliath, was the father of King Solomon and is credited with constructing the first temple of Jerusalem on the Temple Mount. Ceramics discovered near the wall helped date the structure to the second half of the 10th century BCE, which was the era of King Solomon. Near the gatehouse, 3-foot-tall earthenware storage vessels were found, one of which bore a Hebrew inscription indicating it belonged to a high-ranking government official. Other finds included figurines typical of 10th century BCE Jerusalem, such as four-legged animals and large-breasted women, likely symbolizing fertility. Additionally, jar handles with impressions reading to the king and various Hebrew names were uncovered. This discovery has significant implications, as it supports the biblical portrayal of Solomon as a powerful monarch ruling a substantial kingdom, contrary to the minimalist view that he was an insignificant tribal leader. The city of David, named after King David, Solomon's father, is believed to be the oldest part of Jerusalem, situated just south of the modern-day Old City. This area is significant because it is thought to be the original settlement where King David established his capital after conquering Jerusalem from the Jebusites. Archaeologists have conducted extensive excavations in this area, uncovering many ancient structures and artifacts that shed light on Jerusalem's early history. The city of David, also known as Wadi Hilwa, is an archaeological site considered the original core of ancient Jerusalem during the Bronze and Iron Ages. It lies west of the Kidron Valley and east of the Tyropean Valley, just south of the Temple Mount. Among the notable discoveries in the city of David is the Siloam Tunnel, also known as Hezekiah's Tunnel, built to bring water into the city. This tunnel exemplifies the advanced engineering skills of ancient Jerusalem's inhabitants. The Siloam Tunnel, traditionally attributed to Hezekiah, has been dated earlier based on recent excavations. Roman period remains, such as the Pool of Siloam and the Step Street, have also been unearthed. Today, the excavated parts are part of Jerusalem Walls National Park, managed by the Israel Nature and Parks Authority and operated by the Ir David Foundation. Another significant find is the large stone structure believed by some to be the remains of King David's palace. This massive building, if indeed connected to David and Solomon, highlights the city of David's importance as a center of power and administration during their reigns. While recent discoveries have broken records, including significant artifacts, previous archaeologists struggled to definitively locate any royal tombs belonging to Solomon or his successors. Several reasons explain this historical gap. One potential explanation is that these tombs remained undiscovered, as the city of David is expansive, and not all areas had been excavated during earlier efforts. It's plausible that these tombs were still concealed underground, awaiting discovery. Another possibility is that the tombs may have been destroyed or heavily damaged over time due to Jerusalem's tumultuous history of wars and invasions. Ancient structures could have been buried beneath subsequent constructions. Despite the absence of royal tombs, the discoveries within the city of David were invaluable. They enabled archaeologists and scientists to reconstruct Jerusalem's history and the lives of its inhabitants during the United Monarchy. Each new find expanded our knowledge and clarified the past. Before the tombs were eventually located, numerous compelling theories, such as those concerning hidden chambers, abounded. Various theories existed about the location of Solomon's tomb. Some believed it to be beneath the Temple Mount, a site of immense religious significance for Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Among Muslims, the Temple Mount is known as Haram al-Sharif, the noble sanctuary. It is believed to be the site where the Prophet Muhammad ascended to the divine presence during the miraculous night journey, riding a winged horse. This event is commemorated by the Dome of the Rock Shrine, one of Islam's architectural marvels. The Temple Mount has been coveted territory, occupied or conquered by various peoples, including the Jebusites, Israelites, Babylonians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, Byzantines, early Muslims, Crusaders, Mamluks, Ottomans, and the British. It has witnessed numerous significant historical events, possibly more than any other 35 acres worldwide. However, archaeologists have had limited opportunities to explore the site for physical evidence to distinguish legend from reality. The site remains an active place of worship, and the controlling authority, an Islamic council known as the Waqf, has long prohibited archaeological excavations, viewing them as desecration. Apart from clandestine surveys of cave systems and tunnels by European adventurers in the late 19th century and some minor archaeological work by the British from 1938 to 1942 during renovations of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the historical layers beneath the Temple Mount have largely remained unexplored. Therefore, even if Solomon's tomb is there, it is very difficult to locate without proper investigation. Theories about hidden chambers beneath the Temple Mount remain just that, unproven theories due to the lack of concrete evidence. In addition, some historical accounts and traditions mention royal burials near or within the vicinity of the Temple Mount. Ancient texts and stories suggest that kings, including Solomon, might have been buried close to this sacred site, adding to the mystery and theories surrounding the location of Solomon's tomb. One reason for believing Solomon's tomb could be near the Temple Mount is its connection to the First Temple, also known as Solomon's Temple, which was built by King Solomon and was a crucial place of worship for the Israelites. Given the temple's importance, it makes sense that Solomon's burial place might be nearby. Some historic texts hint at hidden chambers and secret passages beneath the Temple Mount, suggesting rooms or tunnels where significant items, possibly including the tombs of kings, were hidden. However, without the ability to explore these areas, it is difficult to confirm these stories. Limited archaeological investigations around the Temple Mount have not uncovered definitive evidence of Solomon's tomb. These investigations are often conducted carefully to avoid altering the site. While many interesting artifacts and structures have been found, the mystery of Solomon's tomb remains unsolved. If Solomon's tomb is indeed at the Temple Mount, as some theorists suggest, it remains an enduring enigma awaiting future discoveries. Certainly. Here's the provided content in paragraph form, without omitting or altering any words. Speculate it would be a significant discovery not only for archaeologists but also for everyone interested in history and religion. But this isn't the only theory that has existed about the location of Solomon's tomb. What other theories have emerged over time? Keep watching to find out. One significant location is Zedekiah's Cave, also known as Solomon's Quarries, a 5-acre underground limestone quarry under the Muslim quarter of the Old City of Jerusalem spanning 5 city blocks and carved over thousands of years. It is believed to have provided the stone for King Solomon's first temple and is the largest quarry in Jerusalem. The strong erosion-resistant Maliki limestone was well suited for royal buildings. The cave has a rich history, with legends of King Zedekiah hiding there from Babylonian soldiers and associations with the Freemasons, although these are mostly speculative. The cave is now open to the public with guided tours, although some areas remain closed for safety or ongoing excavation. Another speculated site is Zedekiah's Cave, also known as Solomon's Quarries. This vast underground limestone quarry has historical links to King Solomon, and local lore suggests it might contain hidden passages leading to his tomb. The cave's labyrinthine passages and mysterious air make it a compelling candidate for housing the long-lost burial site. Besides Zedekiah's Cave, archaeologists have considered Hezekiah's Tunnel, part of Jerusalem's ancient water system, as another potential hiding place for Solomon's tomb. This tunnel, dug during King Hezekiah's reign to prepare for an Assyrian attack, connects the Gihon Spring with the Pool of Siloam. It passes under the city, exposing sections of the western wall and featuring historical sites like Warren's Gate. Other proposed locations for Solomon's tomb include Mount Zion, traditionally associated with the city of David. However, this theory is based on a misconception. King David's actual burial site is in the southeastern area of Jerusalem's Old City, known as the City of David. French archaeologist Raymond Wille's early 20th century excavations in this area uncovered structures he believed to be royal tombs. While Mount Zion is traditionally associated with King David's burial, it is now believed that David was buried in the City of David, south of the Temple Mount. Consequently, the notion of Solomon's tomb being on Mount Zion is widely regarded as inaccurate. Archaeologists and scientists aren't the only ones who have proposed theories about the location of Solomon's tomb. Before its recent discovery, some scholars had suggested Mount Zion, a hill in Jerusalem traditionally associated with the City of David, as a potential site for the royal tombs of the Davidic dynasty, including Solomon. However, this theory is based on a misconception. The widely held belief that King David is buried on Mount Zion is inaccurate. In reality, King David was buried in the southeastern area of Jerusalem's real Old City, south of the Temple Mount, in an area known today as David, the City of David. According to 1 Kings 2 verse 10, the Bible states that King David died and was buried in the City of David. It further states that David ruled over Israel for 40 years, he also ruled over Hebron for 7 years and Jerusalem for 33 years. After that, Solomon ascended to his father David's throne and established his rule. Despite this, Zion appears in the Tanakh as a reference to ancient Jerusalem. During the Middle Ages, Byzantine pilgrims mistakenly identified the hill south of today's Old City's Armenian quarter as part of ancient Jerusalem and named it Mount Zion. The city captured by David was actually on a lower hill to the south of the Temple Mount. This lower hill was the site of the Jebusite city, which became King David's capital and constituted the whole of Jerusalem for over 200 years until it gradually expanded westward to include the area known today as Mount Zion. The erroneous notion that King David is buried on Mount Zion persisted for centuries. During the 2nd century CE, Jerusalem was razed, Jews were banished, and the knowledge of King David's tomb's actual location was lost. The first clue to the royal burial site's location comes from the Bible, which states that King David, his son King Solomon, and the kings of Judah who followed for the next 150 years were buried in David. This likely refers to a subsection of the modern-day area known as the City of David. In 1913, French archaeologist Raymond Wall excavated what he believed to be tombs in Jerusalem's City of David, possibly the royal necropolis of the earliest Old Testament kings. Some scholars have since disputed this claim, but archaeologist Jeff Zorn's examination of the evidence suggests Wall might have been correct. While King David's tomb has been mistakenly identified with a location on Jerusalem's Mount Zion since the time of the Jewish historian Josephus, 1st century CE, earlier biblical references indicate that David and many other Old Testament kings were buried near the southern end of the City of David in ancient Jerusalem. But where exactly? Jeff Zorn believes we may already have the answer. Archaeologist Jeff Zorn believes these two quarried-out tunnels in the City of David may have once held the remains of the earliest Old Testament kings of ancient Jerusalem. 19th-century diplomat and explorer Charles Claremont Gano thought the winding path of Hezekiah's tunnel provided a significant clue. Claremont Gano proposed that the tunnel's semicircular path towards its southern end was dug to avoid disturbing the burial grounds of the ancient Jerusalem kings that lay above. While directed excavations on Baron Rothschild's City of David property in 1913 to 1914 and again in 1923 to 1924. Although the area was significantly disturbed by later quarrying, Wall discovered ancient walls, ritual pools, cisterns, a circular tower now thought to be a columbarium, and, most remarkably, 9 rock-cut features that he identified as tombs. Wall interpreted the 3 most prominent tombs, labeled T1 or T3, as part of the royal necropolis of the Old Testament kings of ancient Jerusalem. After hearing these many theories, some believe Solomon's tomb was intentionally hidden to protect it from looters and invaders, a common practice for royal burials in ancient times. There are theories that Solomon's tomb could be in a less obvious location, possibly outside the traditional City of David area, due to political or religious reasons during later periods of turmoil. For instance, the Seal of Solomon, also known as the Ring of Solomon, is a legendary signet ring attributed to King Solomon in medieval mystical traditions. It is often depicted as a pentagram or hexagram and is said to have given Solomon the power to command supernatural entities and speak with animals. The earliest references to Solomon's seal come from Jewish traditions, first mentioned by the 1st century Jewish historian Josephus. It is also referenced in the 3rd century Jewish magical text Sefer Harazim and an Agadic section of the tractate Gittin within the Babylonian Talmud. However, the Tomb of the Kings in Jerusalem is finally open to the public. Medieval Europeans believed the site contained the burials of King David and King Solomon, and although this theory has been disproved, the name remains associated with the site. Originally constructed in the 1st century CE, the tombs were reused for many years afterwards. The site was first excavated in 1863 by French archaeologist Louis Félicien de Sulcy, who aimed to confirm that the tombs belonged to David and Solomon. This excavation, considered by some to be the first modern archaeological dig in Jerusalem, unearthed several coffins. One of these coffins, now in the Louvre Museum in Paris, was inscribed with 2 lines of Aramaic reading Saddan the Queen and Satta the Queen. But is there more evidence than these theories and speculations? Let us find out. Apart from theories and speculations, some artifacts found in the City of David suggest the location of Solomon's tomb. Items such as bullion seals bearing names from the biblical period have been found in the City of David, dating back to the time Solomon was alive, providing clues to the probable location of his tomb. A bulla is an inscribed clay or soft metal token used in commercial and legal documentation for authentication and tamper-proofing. From 8000 to 7500 BCE, Sumerian agriculturalists used small clay tokens to record their animals and goods. Over time, marking tokens on clay tablets became more practical, leading to the development of cuneiform writing around 3100 BCE. The earliest known tokens come from the Zagros region of Iran, with the term bulla later applied to seals made of metal. Although most bulli were made of lead, some were crafted from gold, as seen in those issued by Byzantine emperors, Holy Roman emperors, and various monarchs in the Middle Ages. 6 official clay seals found by an archaeological team at a small site in Israel provide evidence supporting the existence of biblical kings David and Solomon. Many modern scholars have dismissed David and Solomon as mythological figures, believing no kingdom could have existed in the region at the time the Bible describes their activities. However, these new finds indicate that some form of government activity occurred in that period, highlighting the administrative importance of the area during Solomon's time. The discovery of King Solomon's tomb, if ever confirmed, would be a monumental achievement in archaeology and biblical history. Some people believe that technologies like ground-penetrating radar and other non-invasive methods might help explore hidden chambers without disturbing the site. The search continues, driven by a blend of historical intrigue, religious significance, and the timeless allure of uncovering the secrets of the past. What are your thoughts on Dr. Maz's discovery? Do you believe the tomb of King Solomon has been found? Share your thoughts and join the conversation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating discoveries.